Welcome to Best Ball Bros. We are going to be a weekly podcast where we are talking about fantasy football, the differences between DraftKings, FanDuel, and Underdog, any apps and services we can use. My name is Matt.
I'm Aaron.
And we'll do a draft with you guys.
Yep, all with the mindset of this is fantasy, but we like best ball, and so a lot of our conversations are going to be focused on a best ball mindset, especially with these drafts that we're doing. These will very heavily be best ball drafts.
But we've been drafting best ball teams together past few years, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So we thought that maybe we could bring some people along, and hopefully you guys find it fun as well.
Yeah, why not? All right. Well, guys, I guess we can start with some news around the NFL. It's off-season, starts at camps, all the fun stuff, and couple pieces of news that we're interested in. Aaron Rodgers signs with Pittsburgh last week. How do you feel about that one?
Not excited about any Pittsburgh player except for Pat Freiermuth.
Okay, so why Freiermuth?
I don't think DK Metcalf is going to have the skills that Aaron Rodgers wants, and DK Metcalf has always kind of been the number 2 in almost every offense he's ever been in until now.
I feel like DK Metcalf surpassed Tyler Lockett as the number 1 receiver in Seattle. I think that happened pretty quickly. And I feel like DK Metcalf is the big body that Aaron Rodgers likes.
I'm just not certain of it, personally. I think that DK is more straight line speed, and he just doesn't seem to have the same play style as players that he did throw to forever in his career.
Okay, so let's take a second. Because Rodgers, I think we can both agree, is better for the offense in whole than who they had rolling out.
Probably better, but it's not a significant step up.
No, but so you feel like Freiermuth, even with the rumor mills that they're going after Jonnu Smith in Miami, you still feel like Freiermuth is probably the biggest beneficial?
Until that trade happens, I would only circle Freiermuth in that offense. Okay. But Jonnu Smith would definitely complicate things, but maybe they decide to go big with 2 tight end offenses.
Look, we love big guys, so let's...
That would also protect Rodgers a little bit if they were to run the ball more.
Yeah. Well, that'll have to be another episode where we talk about that running back core.
Is there anybody in Pittsburgh that you like?
In Pittsburgh that I like? Well, I mean, you don't seem too high on him, but I know just from some of our previous drafts that we've done before doing this, we've got DK Metcalf pretty late. And
getting him late helps.
And you know me, I like a big body receiver that can go catch the ball, and I feel like if that guy is your number 1, there's no other receiving option in Pittsburgh right now.
No.
So sign me up for DK Metcalf, especially if we're getting him late.
All right, a late take. I'm not going to argue with him taking late, but he's just he's not something I'm going to be hyper interested in taking.
Okay. So we'll have fun watching Rodgers try to win in Pittsburgh.
Sorry, Pittsburgh fans. The other news that broke at the beginning of this week was J.K. Dobbins signs in Denver.
Yes, and not to get too much ahead of ourselves, it will somewhat affect one of the guys we talk about here in a minute, but how do you feel about J.K. Dobbins going to Sean Payton in the Broncos?
I don't hate it. I don't think he's going to be RB1.
No.
But maybe he gets some boom weeks out of you.
I think he's better than Estime and McLaughlin is the other running backs that they have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
J.K. Dobbins can do everything. The only question is if he is back.
No. I think we're far past that, and not ill wishing anything on J.K. Dobbins like that, but I see him more as a goal line back, third down kind of option. But even then, when I picture J.K. Dobbins, I don't picture going out there and catching the ball on third down. I think of him more as pass coverage.
Fair enough.
Pass protection, So,
but still, that's him on the field with opportunities.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's just a hit this edge defender real hard and then lead it out to the sidelines.
Well, and thinking best ball wise, taking a shot on J.K. Dobbins, goal line back, you're going to get a couple touchdowns. You'll get a couple boom weeks if he is on the field that much
and healthy.
Yeah, and when you're building your roster, you're on running back 5-6. If you can get them that late, doesn't hurt that you're getting somebody that can get some touchdowns.
Absolutely. If you can get him closer to the end of the draft, but I'm sure his ADP will start changing pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, so with our next bit, I thought it would be fun to talk about some players that me and you have an eye on, and when we look at these drafts that we've been doing and that we're going to be doing, a couple guys maybe that you don't want to leave any draft without having on your roster.
Absolutely. So should I start?
Yeah, go ahead. You go.
Okay. My number one guy that I don't want to leave any draft with is T.J. Hawkinson. I believe that he can be almost as high of point getter as Gronk was in his career, as Kelsey was, especially with a new quarterback in Minnesota. And then also keeping in mind Jordan Addison is probably going to be facing probably about 3 games suspension this year. And just everything involved, I think he takes off. Because last year he only played 8 games, I believe. Maybe it was 9. And I believe that coming off of the injury, he's going to play a full 17 games. J.J. McCarthy is not Sam Darnold. And he is going to probably look more to the middle of the field and not so deep. So I think T.J. Hawkinson is going to get a very big workload this year. And I personally believe he's going to be the number 2 wide receiver following J.J.
I don't hate it. Tight ends are a tough spot to get a guy. And when you do get that guy, you win your league, you win, whatever contest you're trying to do. When you get that guy, when you get the Brock Bowers, right?
That's my belief, is that he is going to explode this year.
Yeah.
Because last year, there were only 3 tight ends that had over 1,000 yards receiving.
Yeah.
I think he is going to be one of them this year.
What scares me is 0 touchdowns.
That's fair, but he missed half the season.
Yes.
Came in late and played the second half. He didn't have the rapport.
10 games without a touchdown is a lot.
He had 2 or 3 touchdowns bounce off of his hands with Sam Darnold throwing him the ball. Okay, I know that sounds bad. I know that sounds bad, but I believe full year going into it fully healthy, T.J. Hawkinson, in my opinion, is going to be one of the 3 best tight ends this year.
All right. Well, you heard it here then. Matt thinks Hawkinson top tight end.
Oh, look, I will show my bias right now. I'm a Vikings fan. I'm an eternal optimist when it comes to the Vikings. So, hand up. This is you can call Homer on this, but I think my reasoning is sound.
All right. Well, do you want me to do the gross one or the fun one first of my 2 players?
You pick.
I'll do the fun one first. And guys, this is going to be a lot of talk, but just follow my train of thought on this one, guys. R.J. Harvey. I know we just talked about J.K. Dobbins signing in Denver. R.J. Harvey, rookie out of UCF for Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos at running back. I love this kid. Now, he's a dinosaur compared to most guys, especially with, being a rookie. But if we look at his past 2 years in college, in 23, 1,400 yards rushing, 16 touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown. Okay, not a whole lot in the receiving, but I'll take it. In 24, those numbers go up over 1,500 yards rushing, 22 touchdowns, and tack on 3 extra receiving touchdowns on that. I love those kind of stats. Especially, I mean, that's 2 years, guys improving. They're playing Big 12 football. I like that. So,
Sean Payton obviously is not afraid to use his running backs. And Sean Payton, from what I understand, has even likened him to Kamara, who has been a very, very useful fantasy back to have. So, I'd agree. I'd buy him. We've definitely taken him a couple times this year already.
Yes. And we saw the clip it, Sean Payton comparing him to Mr. Alvin Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're just, let's play the fun game. Can we get Alvin Kamara's rookie year out of R.J. Harvey? And Alvin Kamara's rookie year, you're looking at 728 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns. And you're looking at 826 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns.
Considering you're getting Harvey at the tail end of a draft, those are pretty decent
stats
to get.
Here recently, everybody's been excited, and he's going earlier and earlier now.
Yeah, we've seen his ADP creep up.
So you're not getting him as late, but for a rookie,
his ADP might go down now with them taking J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, maybe. So that
may work in our favor a little bit.
Well, give me a Sean Payton running back at this point, and if it's R.J. Harvey, sign me up. I want him everywhere, and maybe J.K. Dobbins later if you want to deal with that.
If you want to take the handcuff.
Yeah.
Well, Bo Nix he likes to throw short too, so that also helps your running backs.
All right, we're not going to slander Bo Nix already on this podcast, are we?
I don't think it's slander saying that his average depth of target isn't very deep.
Bo Nix, I love you. All right, or Matt, do you want to talk about your second guy?
My second guy is Rashad Bateman. We're getting him very late in drafts, and his numbers from last year aren't amazing. He had, I believe, 3 boom games where he went off. But yeah. I think look, we're not just taking last year's stats and just stamping on the number 2025. I expect progression. He is starting his 5th year, and with Mark Andrews maybe fading off into the sunset, and Isaiah Likely only had 2 big games last year, and he also kind of disappeared after his monster week 1. I think that you're going to see a lot more targets at Rashad Bateman.
Well, the good thing with Rashad Bateman, and like you said, you can't do that with stats. You can't cut 23, 24, goes to 25. We know how this works. 9 touchdowns. I love 9 touchdowns. Only 700 plus yards receiving. That's what scares me. What scares me, and understand, I love Lamar Jackson. That's my guy. Heisman for my beloved Louisville Cardinals. Lamar Jackson, we could argue, should have been MVP, shouldn't have been MVP. We can have those arguments.
Probably should have.
He threw 41 touchdowns last year. He threw for over 4,000 yards. We don't have to talk about his rushing when it comes to this conversation.
Yes.
And that piece of the pie for Bateman doesn't seem like it's big enough.
Again, I think with Mark Andrews, this is probably Mark Andrews' last year. And so I don't anticipate him having a big year. He is probably going to timeshare with Isaiah Likely. And I think that's going to give Rashad Bateman many more chances. With Zay Flowers taking some coverage away from him, I think it'll open up the field more for Rashad Bateman. I'm not going to go out here and say he's going to have huge 20-plus games every single week. I think there'll be some bust weeks, but I think there'll be some absolute boom weeks like he had, where I think he had one game where it was 2 touchdowns and 120 yards. I think he will be more consistent than just 750 receiving yards. I think he will probably leave closer to 1,100.
Okay, so if I said, hey, you get to pick on your roster, we'll throw ADP out for a minute. You get to pick. Do you want Bateman? Do you want Zay Flowers? Or do you want... Let's put Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely together, okay, for the sake of this argument.
Okay.
Do you want the combination of those guys? Bateman or Zay Flowers on your roster. Just to
But
give,
if we're throwing out ADP, then I would probably want Zay Flowers.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'm taking ADP into this. We're getting Rashad Bateman pretty late in
Yes,
drafts. So
right.
we're talking like 12th, 13th round that we're getting him, and I think he's going to be a late round steal.
Right. But just clarifying for everybody, like, hey, don't jump down and take Bateman over Zay Flowers.
Unless if you really believe.
Unless you really believe. All right, I guess that leads me to the gross one. And this is a leap of faith. And when I say this, the podcast will be turned off, I know. So, guys, just bear with us. Justin Fields of your New York Football Jets. I can see the eyes rolling in the back of your head as I say this.
That's just because I'm a Vikings fan. And Justin Fields, we'll charitably call it split time with Russell Wilson last year.
Yes.
But
and so to begin,
but
you have to throw. I think you can throw the entire Pittsburgh year out the window.
That's fair. That's honestly fair.
The Jets are bringing him in to do what he does. He runs and he'll throw the ball, and hopefully it lands in a Jets receiver's hands.
He had some pretty solid years for the Bears as a late round quarterback, and with his rushing ability and everything, might help them a little bit with the offensive line.
Yeah.
So, and look, you can't argue that their wide receivers are bad. They've got some fairly decent.
I mean, Garrett Wilson.
Obviously, starting with Garrett Wilson, he is a very good wide receiver.
Yes.
So,
Breece Hall can catch the ball out of the backfield.
100%. So I want to make fun of the pick, but as a late round quarterback pick, and especially in best ball, if you're pairing him with Matt Stafford, which, spoiler alert, we've done a few times this year already, we're taking two late quarterbacks and pairing Justin Fields with the Matt Stafford to eat so that our bust weeks get eaten by Matt Stafford's a little more consistency, hopefully he doesn't get injured again.
Well, behind baseball talk for a second, we both super love still the strategy of late round quarterbacks, and
absolutely,
I think, and this is the stat that I'm holding on to, and it's not going to be this great for Justin Fields, but in 22, just his rushing alone, over 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns rushing. I'll take that. I'll take that late. So, look, if we're taking a quarterback late and we're saying the best we can do is a pretty decent running back as our quarterback, I'll take it.
I 100% agree. As a Vikings fan, I like to make fun of the Bears all the time. But I think he's going to have a pretty positive year for the Jets.
Yes.
So
I think, if anything, it'll be fun for fantasy.
The offense has to take the field.
Yes.
And he will be throwing the ball.
Yes.
And it's a fun play late. And we will have a future podcast where we talk about our quarterback strategies. But just starting right here, a quick and dirty, I don't believe it's worth it to take a quarterback very early. So I think it makes a lot more sense to stitch 3 guys into a roster.
Yeah. So with that, Justin Fields, if you ever hear this, understand we love you and we wish you the best this year. And please do not make us look like complete morons on our very first episode. Guys, if you want to give us a quick second, we are about to enter into a best ball draft on DraftKings. So here we go. We're going to enter it.
Fast pick. Because we're not going to make you guys sit through something that's going to take a couple days.
Yes. So 30 seconds of pick. We got pick 5, which I don't hate. If we're going off the board right now, just talking while we're waiting along, we got Jamar Chase at 1, Saquon Barkley 2, 3, Justin Jefferson 4, Bijan Robinson, and 5, Jahmyr Gibbs, 6, CeeDee Lamb, 7, Puka, 8, McCaffrey. Out of those guys, who do you hope falls to us at 5, or who are we reaching for?
Look, I doubt Bijan or JJ are going to fall to us. So I would probably say to hop Jahmyr Gibbs and take CeeDee Lamb. But I'm not going to be upset if we take Jahmyr Gibbs.
So the only thing that scares me about Detroit is that news about the offensive line and Ben Johnson leaving. And I worry about that.
Yes, Frank Ragnow leaving is a very scary thing to deal with. And also, like you just said, Ben Johnson leaving to the Bears. We're going to find out just how much of that offense was Ben Johnson and how much is not.
Yeah, no, that scares me. We can all say that, this might take wind out of the sail. That's out of the Detroit offense. CeeDee Lamb. I feel better possibly taking a CeeDee Lamb over a Puka. And it's simply that CeeDee is Dak's guy.
Yeah, and the other problem is no shade on Puka, but aside from his monster rookie year, last year he missed, 6 games, 8 games. And so...
Did he really miss that much?
I'd have to double check right now, but he missed a few games.
But when CeeDee, number of games missed aside, when he's on the field, he's right behind Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. As
last year, he played 9 games.
He only played 9 games last year.
11 games. He played 11 games last year.
11
now,
games.
Granted, in 11 games, he got nearly 1,000 yards. So that's nothing to sneeze at.
All right. So Justin Jefferson fell. It's pick 4. He's 3. That's somebody taking a running back. That's over that. If Justin Jefferson falls one more, we'll take him. I know you're a Minnesota fan, but I'll take him for you.
We're about to find out.
Yeah, it's 6 seconds left, and this looks like it might be an auto pick. So if we're torn between Jahmyr Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, let's go CeeDee Lamb. I haven't built a roster with him yet this year.
I'd rather take CeeDee Lamb early over Jahmyr Gibbs just for the fact of losing Ben Johnson and Frank Ragnow. That's scary, losing your center and your OC in the same.
So let's see. We pick again at pick 20. If we're looking at that, that's A.J. Brown, Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs territory. How do you feel? Jonathan Taylor's at 19. This is new for everybody listening, but we love our big body receivers. And if we can start this, and I feel like we've done this a couple times, but maybe we'll just settle into our wheelhouse of how do you feel about an A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb combo?
I think that'd be a pretty sweet combo, but I personally would rather take Bucky Irving if we had the choice between the two. But we'll find out because we've seen a couple drafts where people they get a little nuts.
Yeah.
So, and the last few drafts we've done this year so far, we've started out with running back early, and we've been pretty happy with how those drafts have fallen.
Oh, these picks are flying back. We're up in 5 picks right now. Brian Thomas just went off the board at 14. That's another guy I'm liking everywhere I can get right now.
Yes. Liam Cohen is looking to pull his magic in Jacksonville, and he looked promising last year. He had a couple bad moves, drop balls, and so I think with the growth he's going to have, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is going to have a pretty positive year.
All right. Well, as we're looking at it right now, anyway, without that being said, I love Brock Bowers getting where he can. There goes A.J. Brown. 2 picks ahead of us. Jonathan Taylor ahead of us. Ladd McConkey ahead of us. So we're going Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs. Between those guys, I like Bucky Irving over all of them.
Tampa Bay's been fun.
Yes.
And so let's go ahead and take Bucky Irving.
Yes, give me a piece of that offense. Jonathan Taylor was slotted higher, but Jonathan Taylor scares me. And it's not so much the player as the offense.
The offense is a little concerning.
And unfortunately, it did hit our news section, but the Anthony Richardson injury.
They're looking at his shoulder.
Again.
Yeah. I've already seen the jokes on Twitter that Danny Dimes is starting Indianapolis this year. So,
but here's the thing. I don't know if that might be better. We're up again at pick 29. Chase Brown is there at 28. Terry McLaurin 29. Lamar Jackson 30. Kyron down at 33. That feels like that's our guy everywhere between all of our drafts that we've done already this year. Would you feel comfortable doing a Chase Brown in Cincinnati, getting another piece of a high-powered offense? How do you feel about those names that we kind of went?
Like I said, probably skip over Lamar, even though, look, I love that offense, but I think that's just a little too early to take a quarterback. And so I think we're going to be staring at Jackson Smith and Jigba or Kyron.
Yes. No, thank you for that one. So no interest in a Chase Brown.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize I'm looking that much further down the board.
Yes, Josh Jacobs is still there at 22.
We're up in a pick, and it looks like we're going to be picking between Garrett Wilson and Chase Brown. And so...
If we get Josh Jacobs here, I say Josh Jacobs.
You know how hard it is for me to pick Packers.
This is why I might have to take this pick for you.
I think it's going to be auto-drafted. So I think they're going to make that decision for us, and I think we're going to have to pick between Garrett Wilson and Chase Brown. Auto pick. There we go. Josh Jacobs off the board.
You know, you want to have some fun and try to pair a Garrett Wilson with a Justin Fields?
Let's have some fun.
All
right. Garrett Wilson. We took him with our third pick.
So right now we have a CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson as our second receiver. And we got...
It feels weird leaving Chase Brown on the board considering how many times we've taken him now. But if we could possibly get that stack, I think it would be pretty fun, honestly, to have a Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson stack.
I feel like that would be fun. We're up again 13 picks, pick 44. If we're looking at ADP, and I know we're jumping around everywhere, guys, we got 30 seconds per pick, so this is why it's kind of picking up a little bit.
I don't understand why people auto draft. You paid the money to do the draft and you're auto drafting?
Yeah, well,
what are you doing, people?
So, at pick 44, if we're looking ADP wise, Xavier Worthy, I do not like him. I don't think he's the one in the offense. He's at 43. Rookie Tedero McMillan at 44. Joe Burrow at 45. And Jameson Williams at 46. I know we just kind of talked about the Detroit offense, but I'm liking Williams.
Last week I talked you into drafting Xavier Worthy.
Yes,
it doesn't sound like it's going to be successful again this
time. I don't
time.
think you will ever get me to talk about a Kansas City receiver ever again.
Last year, I said flat out I wasn't going to take any Giants players, and man, did I feel like an idiot after Malik Neighbors had a pretty insane year. So I'm not going to write off every Detroit player. So JMO might not be bad. Personally, I'd rather take Xavier Worthy.
Travis Hunter at pick 38.
Gross. Why would you do that?
That's a leap of faith there.
Thank you, idiots, for eating that bullet for us.
As we eat that crow 6 months from now. And
I think he's going to play more corner than he plays wide receiver, personally. But we'll see what happens this year. We're up in 4 picks, and so assuming this doesn't auto-draft out, we're looking George Kittle, DK Metcalf, Xavier Worthy, and Joe Burrow a little bit further
down. There goes Tedero and McMillan over James Cook, DJ Moore, George Kittle. Well, it looks like we might be having the conversation Jameson Williams or DK Metcalf. How...
We'll find out, but could I convince you to take Kittle? Because that offense, I think, is Kittle was one of the 3 tight ends last year that had 1,000 yards receiving, and I think with Debo leaving, I think that just gives him even bigger chance to get short targets.
Well, if we can look at this quick, we have the turn coming up. So 53 has us Alvin Kamara.
We are on the board now.
On the board. Let's go J-Mo this one.
J-Mo?
And then I owe you a tight end pick later.
Ooh, all right. Well, I guess that means we can get a TJ Hawkinson later. I really like TJ Hawkinson.
Well, okay, so why I said that was if we're looking at it, if we're looking back down at pick 53, ADP-wise, 51 is Devontae Smith, 52 Chuba Hubbard, 53 Alvin Kamara, and 54 is Zay Flowers. So roster-wise, we only have Bucky Irving right now, but we're rolling out CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, and Jameson Williams. If we get Devontae Smith as our fourth receiver in our flex, I think we can do that and then just take shots at running backs later and have fun with quarterback and tight end.
Well, we will obviously find out who gets taken in front of us.
Yeah,
and
it looks
sometimes they make the decision for you.
Yeah, and then this draft it does look. We had the conversation earlier, like the Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf might be scaring people off a little bit. We're on pick 48. He gets passed up again.
Oof! Yikes.
His ADP right now is 43.
43.
Ranked 42nd. We're on pick 49, and he's getting passed again. For Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley was the last pick.
Yeah. I always complain when drafts go too chalk.
There goes Alvin Kamara. So look, if there goes DK Metcalf, so we don't have to have that. RJ Harvey down there. Devontae Smith as our flex. How do you feel about that?
I like him.
James Conner.
I just like AJ more. So
yes, yeah, but that's our big body receiver biased.
Now, granted, he's gone, so we shouldn't even be thinking about him.
Yes,
but
Chuba Hubbard. If we're looking running back, Joe Mixon, which no, thank you. Kimbo Walker still on the board.
Why you got to be so mean to Joe Mixon?
Because
he had a solid year last year. I was very happy taking him. I think nearly in the 4th round last year.
Oh, Marion Hampton would be our pick if we do that. Xavier Worthy off the board, thank you. I hijacked this pick last round, but 15 seconds. I like Devontae Smith here, man.
Compared to who's on the board, the only other option, in my opinion, is Chuba Hubbard. So Devontae Smith, it is.
All right, so now we've got 4 stud receivers on this roster, so I think we can start looking running back to try to shore this up. We're looking at pick 68 next. David Montgomery, that's a lot of...
Okay, we are starting to look at we're going to have to start looking for a running back.
Oh, yes. We have Bucky Irving playing hero ball right now, so let's...
That Tampa Bay offense was... Baker put some points on the field.
Yes.
And you're getting him pretty late compared to that, so taking anybody in that offense is not a bad idea. Now, granted, looks like Chuba Hubbard is about to...
Oh yeah, he won't. We're not up for 11 more picks. He's definitely going to be off the board by then. Same with Joe Mixon, Kimbo Walker, RJ Harvey. Even though if RJ Harvey falls, I like grabbing him. David Montgomery's there. That's a lot of Detroit Lions for a Minnesota Vikings fans roster. How do you feel? About Aaron Jones Sr.? What do you think he's going to do in Minnesota this year?
Aside from one game where he had a pretty bad fumble and a drop pass, they couldn't keep him off the field. Now, they picked up Mason from the 49ers, and they just signed Oliver to an extension. So, looks like they're going to go big and try to run the ball more. But I think Aaron Jones... I think he's still going to be a viable running back this year.
So you got Quinson Judkins, the rookie for the Browns, at 73, David Montgomery at 68, or Aaron Jones at 75. We're currently slotted for pick 68. Bunch of receivers before that. Out of those 3, who would you like?
I'm concerned with the running lanes in Detroit, so I don't think I want to take Montgomery. Quinshon Judkins. I'll be honest, I don't follow the Browns a ton. And so I know more about Aaron Jones, and we are now on the board.
Yeah, you scroll down there and grab him. I don't mind Aaron Jones. He's a running back 2, but that's the price you pay when you grab 4 receivers like we did.
Yeah, we took a whole bunch of wide receivers already. So are we content taking Aaron Jones?
Grab him. We'll take him.
Drafted.
We are back at 77 after this turn, and that's another rookie coming up. Caleb Johnson for Pittsburgh. That run game scares me. Isaiah Pacheco. Now there's a Kansas City Chief guy we can talk about. I like his role in the offense if he keeps it, is the scary part.
They've definitely gone to more of a stable approach where they roll out whoever fits the need they have at the moment. And so Kareem Hunt went in at the end of the year. Pacheco had a few games. I'm not certain if I'm entirely comfortable taking him, but if we have to.
What about a DeAndre Swift in Chicago? How do you feel?
He's got some receiving chops, and Ben Johnson definitely loves to get the running back ball out in space.
I do like that kind of work for our third running back. I feel pretty good about that.
We'll see if Swift falls to us.
Chris Godwin.
We're up in
2. So
gotcha.
Clear Shakir off the board last. Chris Godwin keeps falling down the board.
Oh wow! We might just have to take Chris Godwin.
Take Chris Godwin and figure out
running back later.
Oh, wait. That's a lot of Tampa on our roster already, but Tampa.
Chris Godwin, he was one of the top wide receivers last year, and
he's
him
on the board
so
here.
Late.
Jerry Judy's on the board.
We would essentially be getting a wide receiver 1 in the what round is this? The seventh round.
Pull it. We can figure out running backs.
Okay, Chris Godwin, we took him 7th round, and I'm happy about it, even though I'm squinting when we stare at it.
All right, so just a quick rundown. We're up at 13 picks.
We missed out on DeAndre Swift anyway. Somebody took him in front of us.
Oh, well, there we go. There's a guy, and I know we're jumping around, guys. Brian Robinson Jr. Star that guy. If we can get him with our next pick, he is Washington's number 1 back. Washington's offense is fantastic. If we can get him in the 8th round at pick 92, we could close the book now. I'd be happy with the roster.
I would normally agree with you. However, I'm going to star my guy, TJ Hawkinson.
Fair.
Whose ADP is 85.
That's fair.
So we would be looking at picking between Hawkinson and Brian Robinson Jr. Look, I would have to steal the remote from you to take TJ Hawkinson, but maybe this gets figured out for us.
I do owe you a tight end pick, I guess. So just a quick rundown. Right now, after 7 rounds, we got Bucky Irving and Aaron Jones as our running backs. And our receiver core, we have CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Devontae Smith, and Chris Godwin. Now, that's our full roster.
Normally, we go running back early, and so at the end of the draft, we're kind of taking shots on wide receivers. Right now, we flipped the script on this draft, so we're going to be having to figure out shots to take on running backs. Oh, Justin Fields just left the board.
Justin Fields? No. Well, they were listening in. They got hyped with me about the Justin Fields.
Thank you, listener.
They were hyped.
8th round. No, TJ Hawkinson left the board.
Okay. As much as that pains you, that means Brian Robinson Jr. continues to fall.
He does.
And that might be.
It's not so much a fall, though.
It's a fall. He's 89, so it's 88, or he's 88 right now. We're on pick 89, 3 picks away. Tony Pollard's ahead of him. Ricky Pearsall's ahead of him. There goes Tony Pollard. Oh, don't shatter my dreams here. Oh,
Two people selecting in front of us.
That's what scares me. Josh Downs. If this is auto pick, it's Ricky Pearsall, which I love a Ricky Pearsall, but not for our roster this week.
Jaden Reed just went off the board.
Reed.
Brian Robinson Jr.
Brian Robinson Jr. I love that for our roster.
He ran the ball with the fierceness last year.
Yes. And I think that offense just continues to click.
I think so too. I think so. Although there's a lot of mouths to feed when it comes to wide receiver.
Feed them all. That's fine. We're up again in 6 picks. Pick 101. Ricky Pearsall continues to fall. Bo Nix. We missed out on Justin Fields. I'm not going to be able to talk you into Bo Nix, am I?
He's not my favorite. Let's see what other quarterbacks are on the board right now. Let's see, 5 picks behind him, Jared Goff. And I think Jared Goff is going to he has silently been a nearly tier 1 quarterback.
Now he doesn't have Ben Johnson.
He doesn't.
But that does give us the Jared Goff J-Mo stack.
But even still, I think at 102, Caleb Williams is 11 picks behind Bo Nix. I think Caleb Williams is probably going to do better than Bo Nix.
I think
Dak Prescott probably does better. He's at 108. Just looking at quarterbacks on the board.
I think Chicago is going to be one of those teams that we look at this time next year where we want all the guys. I think this year is going to be growing pains with that offense.
That's fair. That's fair, but I'm not advocating we take Caleb Williams, but I'm just saying if we had to compare Bo Nix versus Caleb Williams, I would probably want Caleb Williams, and you're getting him nearly an entire round later.
Yeah, so Bo Nix is still there almost, and I like Bo Nix over Jared Goff. I like Bo Nix over Caleb Williams. Seriously, goes Bo Nix. Yes.
You like Bo Nix more than? Is it just because they lost Ben Johnson and?
It scares me. It scares me a lot. But
I think this is just your Saints' perpetual love for
Sean Payton. That might be up.
We're up.
Brandon Ayuk, Jared Goff, Jonnu Smith, Tyrone Tracy Jr. I don't hate Tyrone Tracy Jr. here, just to try to shore up some running back volume. And we got 9 seconds to make the pick. 5 seconds, or we're going to get Brandon Ayuk. I'm going to step in here. We took Tyrone Tracy Jr.
Okay.
Just so we weren't stuck with Brandon Ayuk. Also,
had I been looking at the right tab, I might have advocated to take Jonnu Smith, but
that does shore up some running back volume.
It does,
and we needed that desperately with this roster. So
but we're looking at the point where we're going to have to start figuring out our tight end room,
or quarterback room. Honestly,
both, and our quarterbacks. Jared Goff continues to fall.
So we're up again at 116.
116. If we look to go quarterback, we could be making a decision between Drake May and J.J. McCarthy. 119 and 120. I love the Vikings, but I think Drake May probably has better stats.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time. We can have this conversation.
Will we even look at taking a quarterback in the next round?
I think we have to.
You think we have to?
Yes, before it just completely falls off. Because, this is our quarterback one.
It starts to get...
Right before Drake May, Justin Herbert at 117. I feel better taking Herbert than those two guys. But I like what McCarthy could be in the offense with Justin Jefferson.
Oh, absolutely.
As opposed to Drake May.
With everything they've put around J.J. McCarthy, he could have a very, very good season. But we're also looking at he's probably going to have some on-the-field growing pains, which might be a little scary.
Now, we have some names fallen, and we're 8 picks away. Jared Goff is still on the board. Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Tyler Warren, the rookie for the Indianapolis Colts, tight end.
Jonnu Smith still on the board. Najee Harris, Jordan Mason coming up.
Any of these guys you feel great about?
If Jonnu Smith's on the board, I would advocate for him. But we're looking at where we're going to have to start making decisions about quarterback and tight end very soon.
What if we get the Dak Prescott CD Lamb stack?
I know you really like stacks.
I like stacks in best ball.
In best ball, I know you really, really like them. It's not to say that I don't seek them out. Personally, I don't seek them out, but if they happen, it's a fun happenstance. It can lead to some pretty big seasons.
So
getting Dak at 108.
Jared Goff is still on the board.
Jordan Mason just goes off the board. Just for pure sake of his ADP is 98, and we're in the 115th pick.
There goes Jared Goff. Jared Goff would be our next
Justin
pick.
Herbert.
Justin Herbert. At this turn, we might be able to get away with Jared Goff here and Dak Prescott on the next. Let's try that.
Let's find out.
Let's go Jared Goff here. And then that kind of shores up our quarterback room, and then we can kind of look at some depth on the roster and tight ends.
150, we're looking at Bryce Young possibly to, just kind of completely round out that quarterback room. And so if we went...
Or Tua or Michael Penix if they fall.
Maybe. I'm just circling somebody whose ADP is 149 and still is a viable starter, because after that it starts to get really sketchy unless if you're trusting Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, because 185 and 187 and 192. So and then Tyler Shough.
Yeah. He can shuck it. So just kind of behind baseball again.
Cam Scatabo just went off the board.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. For our best ball roster builds, we like 7 running backs, 7 receivers, 3 tight ends, and 3 quarterbacks. It's kind of what we've fallen in love with. Kind of gives you some wiggle room on boom bust injuries. Tyler Warren is still there on the board. We're up in 4 picks.
There goes Jonnu Smith.
Yes. So I think the conversation is Dak Prescott, J.J. McCarthy, Rashid Shaheed, or if Tyler Warren's there, we've wanted him and haven't been able to get him before.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't the first tight end taken in this year's draft, but I think he very well could have been. We're up in 2 picks. Dak Prescott, Tyler Warren are the 2 auto picks that would have to be. Ramondre Stevens off the board. Isaiah Likely was just taken.
Okay.
Luther Burden.
We get our choice. Are we going to take Dak Prescott or Tyler Warren?
Let's go Tyler Warren, because Dak Prescott's still there. J.J. McCarthy's still there. Jordan Love, C.J. Stroud.
Okay. So taking Tyler Warren.
Yeah, T-Law, Dallas Goedert, Michael Penix. These guys are all still here.
And after just looking down the board, tight ends kind of ugly after this. Goddard 130, 139, and then Jake Ferguson at 148.
Fire Daddy.
Ooh, Kyle Pitts at 155.
Oh, gross.
Whoa, that's insane.
Okay.
He's obviously fallen from grace.
We almost have to pause everything we are doing and address how you said, woo Kyle Pitts.
Look,
what on earth are we talking about now?
Tight ends take a very long time to develop. last year he had to put up with a severely hampered Kirk Cousins. I think with Penix, you know that I loved Penix going into the year. I think with Penix, he could have a pretty big year.
Matt, on our very first episode, we cannot.
I'm wooing about a guy on 155.
On the same episode where we're talking up Justin Fields, we cannot be talking up Kyle Pitts also. We will lose all credibility and be the laughing stock of everybody.
Look,
until it works.
First episodes are for mistakes, okay? And we will not talk about the very first episode that won't see the air because of technical difficulties.
Yes.
So
yeah, we'll say that. Okay,
so right now we are.
Yeah, let's get focused back in. We're at pick 140. It's up in 7 picks. We have 7 picks.
Okay.
J.J. McCarthy's still on the board. C.J. Stroud, the other rookie tight end, Colton Loveland from Chicago. Tajay Spears is there if you want to feel like we can really secure that running back room. Because, man, we got Dallas Goedert, Michael Penix, Rashad White. We already have Bucky Irving. I don't want to double down on Rashad White. Our trusty-go-lucky Matt Stafford is still there at 144.
Yes, he is.
We do have Jared Goff.
I would feel a little better about getting a little bit more of a boom quarterback to pair with Jared Goff, because he's kind of been Mr. Steady.
Okay, so out of who's on the board, who do you consider that boom quarterback? Is it J.J. McCarthy? He's still falling.
He is still... His ADP is 120, and we are looking at 136 right now.
I don't mind going... If we go McCarthy, we look like the biggest NFC North fans with our roster, but there goes Michael Penix. So there's one guy. There's a boom guy.
That's who I was just gonna say.
Okay,
I think he would have done well this year, because he kind of put Washington back on the map for a year.
There goes in college. So they're jumping over C.J. Stroud, jumping over McCarthy.
People are really scared about C.J. Stroud and that shoulder.
Or that offense might have shown you what it is.
But
Tootin off the board. There goes a running back.
Okay.
It's okay.
So,
if we're up in one more pick, you hate to talk it into existence, because then they go before you get them. I like J.J. McCarthy here. Tajay Spears. I don't mind that, just for securing up the running back room. We're up, and McCarthy's still on the board. C.J. Stroud's still on the board.
In two rounds, we could probably get Matt Stafford, and then follow it up with Bryce Young. And so we could maybe look at who's...
Dalton Kincaid, Tajay Spears. We got 8 seconds. We got to make a pick. I don't mind Tajay Spears here.
Go ahead, take him.
Whew. I think we got him with 1 second left on the board. Yes, we did. Okay, Tajay Spears. That gives us 5 running backs, 5 receivers. We can kind of take some shots now. Let's secure up that quarterback room. Let's secure up that tight end room.
We're going to star Matt Stafford, Bryce Young. I know you want to stay far away from Sam Darnold.
Yes, I do like Zach Ertz down there at 152 also.
Let's see who's available at
Kyle Pitts. I can't believe you said that on this podcast.
I was wooing about that guy at 155.
Yes,
You're really going to hold that against me?
Okay, at 159, I know it's early. I know it's Jacksonville. But Tank Bigsby, ADP, is 158. He might be their running back one this year.
Very, very possible.
So I went ahead and started him.
Did you?
Yes. So maybe take a quarterback on this. And then, man, that is a long way to 164 from our next pick at 159. He's probably not going to be there.
Are we looking to take a quarterback, or are we going to try to take a Jake Ferguson to have kind of a healthy floor at our tight end?
Okay, so we're up at 4 picks. Dallas Goedert is there.
Goddard, Ferguson, Ertz.
I love Ertz. I just worry about his age.
Yeah, his age is scary, but he was fairly reliable in that offense last year. If we'd be taking Ferguson essentially at ADP right there.
Dallas Goedert, Stafford, Ferguson.
Would you rather take a quarterback or a tight end right now?
Tight end mainly. I feel like we still have some productive guys later. And tight end, it's such a shotgun approach, especially taking late tight ends. We didn't grab one of the big guys.
Yeah, we're going to have to stitch this together and hope and pray that it seems into a beautiful tapestry.
Dallas Goedert, Ferguson. We have both receivers off of both those teams. So... Ertz, I feel like we're reaching for Ertz. C.J. Stroud
I think we'd be reaching for
C.J. Stroud's still on the board. Does that tickle your fancy at all?
It does a little bit, especially getting him that late. We're up next.
Oh, there goes C.J. Stroud.
Oh, auto pick. So we have to make a decision. Are we taking Goddard or are we taking Ferguson?
I mean, that's a coin flip. Who do you feel better about? 15 seconds.
I would probably lean Ferguson. I think he gets a little bit more looks there's a kind of a lot of mouths to feed in
Philly. I don't mind it. We'll go Ferguson here. Yeah, we're around 13 now. We're just trying to backfill rosters. So all of these are starting to look a little gross. We got 14 picks till our next pick.
You say gross. I say Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. Again, gross and Kyle Pitts. All right, so just kind of reviewing the roster right now. At quarterback, we have Jared Goff. At running back, we have Bucky Irving, Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson Jr., Tyrone Tracy, Tajay Spears. At receiver, this is where we're making our heyday. CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Devontae Smith. And we got 2 tight ends now. We have Ferguson and we have Tyler Warren. So I think
we're desperately going to need to pick a quarterback with our next pick.
So
between Stafford and Bryce Young.
Yes. So this next,
how do you feel about picking up Danny Dimes late? His ADP is 187 right now. Just kind of a shot in the dark.
There goes Stafford.
So I guess we're going to have to hope that Bryce Young keeps falling.
Tank Bigsby is down there too, but we need some receiver help. I know we swung big with our guys, but we don't have a lot of depth if those 4 guys are in our 3 receiver slots and our flex. Oh.
Come on, people, make your picks. It says we've got 9 picks to go.
We still have 7 rounds.
Yeah.
So, guys,
I'm having fun. I'm having fun with this. Our team that we won't talk about last week was kind of ugly in my opinion.
And guys, if we do cut this short after this, we can always post the roster on our Twitter. Do you feel better about Bryce Young than I do?
Yes,
so
I do.
Explain to me why you love
the second half of his season was a lot more encouraging than the first half. The first half, there goes Bryce Young off the board.
Okay.
We don't even get a chance. So now the question is, we're starting to look in the ugly zone of quarterbacks. So we might just have to go tight end.
Well, we already have
Zach Ertz.
We already have 2 tight ends.
But
who's available? Who's available at running back?
At running back?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Tyler Algier, Rico Dowdle, Nick Chubb, Braylon Allen, Will Shipley down there. I like that.
I know you've talked about Shipley.
Who we have at receiver? Who's still available? Leggett. I love that man. Wan'Dale Robinson, Romeo Dobbs. That's always a fun shot in the dark. Alec Pierce. I don't like any of these guys either.
We're on the clock.
We're on the clock.
So, Zach Ertz just left the board. We need a quarterback. We need a tight end. Clock is ticking.
Give me Sam Darnold. He's the starter at least.
Okay.
And then we'll piece it together from there. All right, guys. That's through 15 picks. So we'll post the full roster in the description. Kind of let you guys see how we did. Hopefully our ramblings have helped you enough.
I definitely hope you had fun, and I hope you got a laugh at me saying, ooh, for Kyle Pitts at 155.
Yes, so I know this is going to be posted on YouTube.
Yes.
And you can always follow us at Best Ball Bros FF at Twitter. We're new to this, guys. We're going to be going through this with you, and I've had a lot of fun doing this already, and hopefully we don't sound like complete morons at the end of the day, and you guys can ride along with us.
Definitely tell us your thoughts in the comments. Call me a moron. I don't care. Call me a homer. I don't care. I am a little bit. I admit it. I'm not afraid to admit it.
But thank you guys for listening, and love you all. Good night.
Good night.